It was still dark outside when Alex opened his eyes. The alarm was ringing, and for a moment he didn't remember why. Then he saw the suitcase near the door and smiled nervously. "Right," he said quietly. "Today I'm flying to New York." His first big trip alone. His English was not perfect, and that made him feel a little scared. But there was also excitement, the kind that feels like electricity in your stomach. He made coffee, checked his passport 3 times, and whispered to himself, "Don't forget anything. Phone, ticket, charger. Okay, let's go." At the airport, everything felt fast and loud. Screens flashing, people running, announcements echoing through the hall. Alex looked around, trying to find the check-in counter for Flight 327. When he finally saw the sign, there was already a long line. He took a deep breath and joined it. "Good morning," said the woman at the counter with a friendly smile. "Where are you flying today?" Alex froze for a second, then answered, "Good morning. I'm flying to New York." She nodded. "Can I see your passport, please?" He opened his backpack and started searching. It wasn't there. His heart jumped. "1 second," he said, trying to stay calm. After a few seconds that felt like minutes, he found it in the side pocket. "Here you go," he said with relief. "Thank you," she replied. "Please put your bag on the scale." The screen flashed red. The woman looked up. "Your bag is overweight," she said politely. Alex blinked. "Over what?" "Overweight," she repeated. "Too heavy. You need to remove 2 kilos." He felt heat rising in his face. "Ah, okay. I understand." He stepped aside and opened his suitcase right there on the floor. Clothes, books, cables, everything mixed together. People were watching, but he laughed quietly. "All right, let's make you lighter," he whispered to the suitcase. He took out 2 books and his heavy jacket, closed it again, and walked back to the counter. "Is it okay now?" he asked. "Perfect," the woman said, printing his boarding pass. "Here you are. Have a nice flight." "Thank you," Alex said, finally smiling. "You too. Have a nice day." He walked away, feeling proud. His hands were shaking, but inside he felt stronger. He had just survived his first real English conversation. It wasn't easy, it wasn't perfect, but it was real. As he looked at his boarding pass, he whispered, "I can do this." Then he heard the announcement, "Flight 327 to New York. Check-in closing in 15 minutes." He started walking faster, pulling his suitcase, repeating the new phrase in his mind, "Your bag is overweight." It was funny now. Maybe learning English wasn't about classes and books, after all. Maybe it was about these moments, when your heart beats fast, but you keep speaking anyway. As Alex walked toward the security line, he felt lighter, but only for a moment. Something didn't feel right. His suitcase, The one he had just closed after removing the books was still heavy. He remembered the woman's voice at the counter. "Your bag is overweight." Maybe he hadn't removed enough. He looked at his boarding pass, then at the long line ahead of him. 15 minutes, he whispered. There was no time to go back, but the worry stayed with him, like a small stone in his shoe. When he reached the checkpoint, an officer smiled and said, "Take off your jacket, please. Put your bag on the belt." Alex did what everyone else was doing. The line moved slowly. He watched as people placed their laptops and phones in plastic trays. One man in front of him forgot his water bottle, and the officer told him to throw it away. "No liquids," she said. Alex quickly checked his own backpack. Inside was a half-empty bottle of water. He grabbed it and asked softly, "Can I drink it here?" The officer nodded. "Sure, but please finish it before you go through." He smiled. "Okay, no problem." He drank it fast, almost choking, but felt proud that he had spoken clearly. Then another officer said, "Laptop out, please." Alex hesitated. He didn't hear well. "Sorry, what?" The officer repeated, slower this time. "Laptop, out of the bag." "Ah, okay," he said, pulling it out quickly. "Could you say it again, please?" he added with a shy grin. The officer smiled back. "Of course. It's okay. You're doing fine." That small kindness gave Alex courage. He walked through the metal detector. It beeped loudly. His stomach dropped. The officer raised a hand. "Do you have anything in your pockets?" Alex touched his jeans and felt coins. "Oh yes, just a few coins." "Please put them in the tray," she said. He did it, and the machine stayed silent this time. As he collected his things, he realized something. English at the airport was not like in textbooks. It was faster, louder, and full of small surprises. He whispered to himself, "Remember, always ask, 'Could you say it again, please?'" It was like a magic spell, polite and powerful. He looked for a place to sit and repack. His jacket was hanging from the suitcase, and his laptop didn't fit properly. He laughed quietly. "What a mess," he said. He saw a family next to him, 2 kids running, the mother trying to calm them down in Spanish. Everyone looked stressed. Airports were full of languages, but somehow everyone understood each other. A smile, a nod, a short word, that was enough. Alex zipped his bag and stood up. His hands were a little sweaty, his heart still beating fast, but he felt a strange joy. Every time he opened his mouth and spoke, he learned something new. When the speaker above his head announced, "Gate 23 now boarding," he looked at his boarding pass again. Gate 23. That was him. He whispered, "Okay, one more challenge." He picked up his suitcase, took a deep breath, and smiled. Maybe traveling alone wasn't scary anymore. Maybe this was exactly how you learn a language, not by reading, but by living it. The line for passport control was long and slow. Alex could hear different languages around him: Italian, Arabic, French, but the officers spoke only English. The room felt warm, and the sound of rolling suitcases filled the air. He looked at his passport again and again, as if it might suddenly disappear. A woman behind him sighed loudly. Everyone seemed tired, impatient, and a little afraid of saying the wrong thing. Alex took a deep breath and tried to relax. Just speak clearly, he told himself, one question at a time. Finally, it was his turn. The border officer looked serious, but not unkind. "Good morning," she said. "Where are you traveling today?" Alex answered, "Good morning, I'm traveling to New York." The officer scanned his passport, then asked, "What's the purpose of your visit?" For a second, Alex's mind went blank. He had practiced this phrase before, but suddenly forgot it. "Purpose? Visit?" he repeated quietly. Then it came back to him. "I'm going on vacation," he said, smiling nervously. The officer nodded. "How long will you stay?" 10 days, he replied. "Do you have a return ticket?" "Yes, here it is." He handed her his phone with the booking. The officer looked at the screen, then stamped his passport. "All right, have a good flight." Alex smiled in relief. "Thank you. You too. I mean, have a good day." As he walked away, his heart was still racing. Every question felt like a small test, but each answer made him stronger. He thought about how different real English was. In class, you had time to think. Here, you had seconds. You had to listen, understand, and speak all at once. It was stressful, but also exciting. He entered another security area. A man in uniform pointed at the tray. "Put your laptop and phone here," he said. "Take off your belt and jacket." Alex followed the instructions, then asked, "Should I take off my shoes too?" "Yes, please," said the officer. "Everything metal." Alex laughed softly. "Everything? Okay, I'll try." He walked through the scanner, but it beeped loudly. The officer stopped him. "Do you have anything in your pockets?" Alex shook his head, then suddenly remembered. "Oh, coins again. Sorry." He dropped them into the tray and tried again. This time, no sound. The officer smiled. "There you go. All good." He collected his things, trying not to block the line behind him. The belt was hard to put back on. His laptop nearly fell, and his suitcase handle got stuck. A woman nearby laughed and said, "Don't worry, it's always like this." Alex smiled back. "Good to know." That small exchange made him feel human again. Everyone was struggling. Everyone made small mistakes. He found a quiet corner near the gate and sat down for a minute. His head was full of new words. "Purpose of visit," he repeated. "Return ticket. Take off your belt. Do you have anything in your pockets?" He whispered each phrase slowly, letting it stay in his memory. He realized something important. When you hear a sentence in real life, under stress, it sticks. The situation itself becomes your teacher. The loudspeaker called again. "Attention, passengers on Flight 327 to New York. Boarding begins in 10 minutes." He looked at the crowd. People rushing, calling relatives, searching for coffee. The airport was like a living textbook. Every corner had a new lesson, every voice a new accent. Alex smiled. He still felt nervous, but now he understood something deeper. Stress wasn't the enemy. It was part of learning, part of traveling, part of life. He stood up, took his bag, and whispered, "Next stop, the gate." The flight to New York was long but quiet. Alex sat by the window, watching the clouds drift like slow white mountains. He listened to an English podcast, trying to catch familiar words, but most of them slipped away. Still, he liked the rhythm of it, the sound of real conversation. When the plane landed, everyone clapped softly. He smiled, tired but excited. A new country, a new language, a new start. Inside the airport, the line for passport control moved quickly this time. The officer smiled, stamped his passport, and said, "Welcome to the United States." Alex felt proud hearing those words. He followed the signs to baggage claim, feeling the weight of the long flight in his legs. He imagined the moment when he would finally see his suitcase rolling toward him. He wanted a shower, a coffee, and sleep. He stood near the carousel with dozens of other passengers. The screen showed Flight 327, baggage arriving. The belt started moving and suitcases began to appear. Black, red, blue, one after another. People grabbed their bags and left. Alex waited. 10 minutes passed. 15. The belt stopped. His suitcase wasn't there. He looked around, hoping it might appear from another corner, but nothing moved. His stomach tightened. A woman nearby noticed his face. "Missing your bag?" she asked kindly. "Yeah," he said. "It didn't come." "It happens," she said. "Go to the desk over there. They'll help you." Alex nodded. He took a deep breath and walked to the counter with the sign, "Lost Baggage Service." A tired-looking employee smiled politely. "Hello, how can I help you?" Alex spoke slowly, trying to sound confident. "Excuse me, my bag didn't arrive. What should I do?" "No problem," the woman said. "Can I have your baggage tag, please?" He searched his pockets nervously until he found the small paper sticker from check-in. "Here it is." The woman typed on her computer. "All right," she said. "Your bag is still in London. It missed the transfer flight. We'll send it to your hotel tomorrow." Alex blinked. "Tomorrow? Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much." She smiled. "Can I have your hotel address?" He showed it on his phone. "Great," she said. "We'll call you when it arrives." Alex exhaled, finally relaxing. "Okay, thank you. You just saved my trip." As he walked away from the counter, he felt strangely calm. He had lost his suitcase, but he had managed the whole conversation in English. No translator, no panic, just words. Real ones. He thought about the phrase he had just used. "What should I do?" It was so simple, but powerful. You could say it anywhere, in any situation, and someone would help you. He stopped at a small cafe near the exit and ordered a coffee. The barista smiled and asked, "How was your flight?" Alex laughed softly. "Long," he said, "and my bag stayed in London." The barista laughed too. "It'll find you," she said. "They always do." Alex thanked her and sat by the window, sipping his drink. Outside, taxis moved in long yellow lines. New York looked busy, bright, and full of noise. He felt free, even without his suitcase. He had only his backpack, his passport, and a few English words, but somehow that was enough. He opened the Notes app on his phone and typed new phrases he had learned. "My bag didn't arrive." "Can I have your baggage tag?" "What should I do?" "We'll send it to your hotel." These were not from a lesson, they were from life itself. The airport noise faded behind him as he stepped outside into the cool night air. He looked up at the city lights and smiled. He had survived his first real problem in English and solved it. Maybe the bag was lost, but something more important had arrived: confidence. The taxi ride from the airport felt like a dream. The driver talked fast, his voice blending with the sound of traffic and the radio. "First time in New York?" he asked, glancing in the mirror. Alex smiled, still a little shy. "Yes, first time. I'm a bit tired but very happy." The driver laughed. "Everyone's tired in this city, my friend. Where are you from?" "From Poland," Alex said. "Ah, Poland. I had a passenger from Warsaw last week. Nice people." The conversation continued naturally, and Alex realized he was speaking English without thinking. He made small mistakes, but the words flowed. He felt a spark of pride. Outside the window, lights moved like stars. The city looked alive even at night. Alex wanted to ask more questions, but he was also afraid of misunderstanding. Still, he tried. "How long have you been driving a taxi?" 12 years, said the driver. "This city never sleeps, and neither do I." They both laughed. Alex whispered to himself, "Never sleeps? That's New York." When the taxi stopped at the hotel, Alex handed over his money and said, "Keep the change." It was something he had heard in movies, and it felt good to say it in real life. The driver smiled. "Thank you. Have a great stay." "You too," Alex said, then corrected himself, laughing. "I mean, have a good night." The driver gave him a thumbs up and drove away. Inside the hotel lobby, Alex walked to the front desk. "Good evening," said the receptionist. "Do you have a reservation?" "Yes, under the name Alex Nowak," he said proudly. The receptionist checked the computer. "Found it. Welcome, Mr. Nowak. Do you need help with your luggage?" Alex smiled again. "No luggage today. It's taking a different flight." The receptionist laughed. "Ah, one of those bags. Don't worry, it will come back to you." "I hope so," Alex said, signing the form. In his room, everything felt new. The smell of fresh sheets, the quiet hum of the air conditioner, the lights of the city outside the window. He sat on the bed and opened his phone. There were no messages yet from the airline, but he didn't mind. He opened the voice recorder and spoke softly. Day 1. I arrived in New York. My bag is lost, but my confidence is found. He laughed at his own sentence, then added, New words today. Overweight bag, boarding pass, baggage tag, purpose of visit, and my favorite, what should I do? He replayed the recording and smiled at how natural his voice sounded. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. He looked out the window again. Below, cars moved like fireflies. Somewhere out there was his suitcase, traveling on its own little adventure. He imagined it flying through the night sky, trying to find him. See you tomorrow, he whispered, almost jokingly. Then he lay back on the bed and felt a wave of calm. For the first time in years, he wasn't afraid of speaking English. Every conversation, every mistake, every question, they all added up to this small, quiet victory. He turned off the light and said softly, "Good night, New York." The next morning, sunlight slipped through the curtains and painted the room in soft gold. Alex opened his eyes slowly, still half lost in dreams. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then he saw the unfamiliar ceiling, the quiet hum of the city outside, and remembered New York. He smiled. It didn't feel real yet. He reached for his phone and checked the time. There was a new message from the airline. Your luggage has arrived. Delivery scheduled for 2 p.m. He exhaled with relief. Finally, he whispered. He made a cup of coffee using the tiny hotel machine and sat near the window. The city was already awake. Taxis honking, people hurrying, voices echoing from the street below. He thought about the past 24 hours, the airport, the conversations, the mistakes, the stress. And then he realized something. He hadn't just traveled across the ocean, he had crossed a line inside himself. The line between knowing and doing, between learning English and living it. He opened his notebook and began to write. At the top of the page, he wrote the date and a simple title, Lesson from the Flight. Then he started listing what he had learned. Number 1, he wrote slowly, Don't be afraid to ask for help. He remembered his words at the counter, What should I do? And smiled. Number 2, he continued, Listen first, speak second. He thought about the officer repeating, Laptop out, please, and how useful it was to simply say, Could you say it again? Number 3, he wrote, Laugh when you make mistakes. He remembered his nervous laugh at the check-in counter and how it had turned panic into a friendly moment. Number 4, he added, Every problem teaches a phrase. He read his list again, then whispered each sentence aloud, as if teaching himself. His English sounded different now, slower, clearer, more natural. He realized that when he spoke without fear, his words carried meaning instead of just grammar. He looked at the page one more time and added the last line. Confidence is not something you find, it's something you build. At 2 o'clock, someone knocked on the door. "Delivery," the voice said. When Alex opened it, a man was standing there with his suitcase. "Here you go, sir," the man said. Alex laughed. "Wow, you found me. Thank you so much." "No problem," said the man. "Have a great day." "You too," Alex replied, naturally. He closed the door, looked at the suitcase, and shook his head. "Welcome back," he said with a grin. He unpacked slowly, placing his things neatly into the closet. Everything smelled like the journey: airports, airplanes, adventure. Then he took out his small notebook again and added a few more words he had just used. "Have a great day." "You too." "No problem." He knew that none of these phrases were in his textbooks, but they were the kind of English that made real life possible. That evening, he went for a short walk outside. The air was cool, and the sky above the skyscrapers glowed orange and pink. He passed people talking on phones, laughing with friends, ordering food from street carts. Everywhere he turned, there was English: fast, living, imperfect. He listened, repeating bits of conversation quietly to himself, like a shadow among voices. He didn't need subtitles anymore. He just needed time. When he returned to the hotel, he sat down again and looked at his notes. Then he added one final sentence at the bottom of the page. "If I can survive the airport in English, I can survive anywhere." He underlined it twice. Outside, the city lights blinked like distant stars. Inside, Alex felt something new. Not excitement, not fear, but calm. He whispered to himself before turning off the light. "Every flight has turbulence, but it always lands." And with that thought, he closed his notebook, ready for whatever came next. The suitcase finally arrived, but Alex realized something more important had already landed: his confidence. Because real English isn't learned in silence or in books. It's learned in motion, in mistakes, in moments that make your heart race. Every flight changes you, and if you keep speaking, the sky is never the limit.
Thanks! Please subscribe and like. Spin a new yarn with us every week. See you there!